93% of people trying to lose belly fat are doing it completely wrong. Not slightly wrong, completely wrong. They are exercising, they are eating less, they are trying, and the belly stays exactly where it is. But here is what nobody tells you about that belly fat. The fat you can see is not even the dangerous kind. There is another fat deep inside your body right now that you cannot see, cannot feel, and cannot touch, and it is the one that is quietly killing you. So how long does it actually take to get rid of it? The answer is not what any fitness influencer has told you. And by the end of this video, you will finally understand why your belly has not moved and exactly what to do about it.
Before we talk about time, you need to understand what you are actually fighting, because most people are targeting the wrong fat entirely. The fat you can pinch, the soft jiggly fat under your skin, is called subcutaneous fat. It looks bad, but scientifically it is relatively harmless. It is the fat your body stores as emergency energy. It is not attacking you. But visceral fat? Visceral fat sits deep inside your abdominal cavity, wrapped directly around your vital organs. It is not passive. It is not just stored energy. It is metabolically active, meaning it is constantly doing something to your body. Every single hour, visceral fat releases inflammatory cytokines, toxic chemical messengers directly into your bloodstream. They inflame your arteries, they disrupt your insulin, they damage your liver, and they accelerate brain aging, while you feel completely normal. Here is the fact that should genuinely disturb you. You can have a relatively flat stomach, look lean to everyone around you, and be carrying dangerously high visceral fat around your organs. Looks mean nothing with this fat. Zero. Harvard research links high visceral fat to a 39% higher heart attack risk, a 72% higher type 2 diabetes risk, and measurably accelerated cognitive decline. The simplest screening tool you have at home right now is a tape measure. Men over 40 inches at the waist, high visceral fat likely. Women over 35 inches, same warning.
Now, the question you came here for. How long does it actually take to lose visceral fat? And I am going to give you the real answer, not the motivational answer, the real one. Here is what peer-reviewed research actually shows. With consistent, correct intervention, most people begin losing measurable visceral fat within 2 to 4 weeks. Not surface fat, visceral fat specifically. Yes, that fast. And before you get excited, hear the next part. Because 2 to 4 weeks is when it starts. The timeline for meaningful reduction, meaningful enough to matter to your health, is very different. Weeks 1 and 2, your body's fat-mobilizing hormones begin shifting. Insulin sensitivity starts improving. Inflammation markers begin dropping. Nothing visible yet, but the biology is changing. Weeks 3 and 4, studies using MRI scanning show the first measurable visceral fat reduction, even before the scale moves significantly. Even before you see it, the inside is changing before the outside shows it, always. Months 2 and 3, with consistent effort, most people lose 10 to 15% of their visceral fat. Not total body fat, visceral specifically. Blood pressure starts dropping, sleep quality improves, energy rises. These are not coincidences, they are direct results of less visceral fat poisoning your system. Months 4 to 6, the research shows 20 to 30% visceral fat reduction is achievable, and by this point, your doctor's blood work tells the story. Insulin sensitivity up, inflammatory markers down, cardiovascular risk measurably reduced. This is where the health transformation becomes undeniable. And here is the shocking truth most people never hear. Visceral fat is metabolically easier to lose than the soft fat you can see. It is designed to be mobilized quickly in emergencies. Your body burns visceral fat preferentially when you do the right things. The fat that is killing you is actually the first one your body burns. The fat you feared most is the most responsive to change. That changes everything about how you should approach this.
So, if visceral fat responds this well, why do so many people fail to lose it? There are 4 specific biological blockers, and most people have at least 2 running simultaneously. Blocker 1, chronically elevated insulin. Insulin is your fat storage hormone. When it is chronically elevated from frequent eating, refined carbohydrates, and sugar, your body is locked in storage mode 24 hours a day. Visceral fat cannot be mobilized while insulin is high, regardless of how much you exercise, regardless of how little you eat. The lock is on. Blocker 2, chronic stress. Cortisol, your stress hormone, has a specific biological command. It orders your body to store fat in one particular location. Your belly. Visceral, specifically. Chronic stress does not just feel bad, it is physically building visceral fat every single day. You cannot out-exercise a stressed nervous system. Blocker 3, poor sleep. One night of poor sleep raises cortisol, spikes ghrelin, your hunger hormone, and flatlines growth hormone, your primary fat-burning signal.
3 simultaneous fat-storing effects from one bad night. People sleeping under 6 hours consistently have significantly higher visceral fat than those sleeping 7 to 9 hours. Same diet, dramatically different belly. Blocker 4, targeting the wrong exercise. Crunches do not burn visceral fat. Sit-ups do not burn visceral fat. No ab exercise burns visceral fat. You cannot spot-reduce fat from any location on your body. This has been proven conclusively for decades, and yet millions do crunches daily wondering why the belly stays. If you've spent months doing core exercises hoping to lose belly fat, I want you to hear this clearly. You were not weak. You were not lazy. You were given the wrong information, and wrong information, no matter how hard you work, produces 0 results. If this is already making sense of why nothing worked, subscribe right now. The solution is coming in the next 90 seconds.
Now, exactly what works, based on what the research actually says, not what the fitness industry sells. Intervention 1, Zone 2 Cardio. The single most effective exercise for visceral fat is not HIIT, not sprinting, not gym machines. It is Zone 2 Cardio, sustained moderate intensity movement where you can hold a conversation for 30 to 45 minutes, walking briskly, light cycling, swimming. At Zone 2 intensity, your body uses fat as its primary fuel source, specifically free fatty acids released from visceral fat stores. Higher intensity switches to glucose burning. Slow is faster, for visceral fat specifically. Intervention 2, resistance training. Resistance training 3 times weekly builds muscle mass that raises your resting metabolic rate permanently. More muscle means more visceral fat burned at rest 24 hours a day, including while you sleep. Every pound of muscle added burns an extra 50 calories daily, doing absolutely nothing. Intervention 3, time-restricted eating. You do not need to starve. You need to create windows where insulin drops completely. Eating within an 8 to 10 hour window daily without changing what you eat has been shown in multiple studies to reduce visceral fat by up to 8% in 3 months. The fasting window is when your body burns. The eating window is when it builds. Intervention 4, insulin management through food. Drop refined carbohydrates and added sugar, not all carbohydrates, refined ones specifically. White bread, sugary drinks, packaged snacks, these spike insulin aggressively, locking visceral fat in place for hours after each serving. Replace them with fiber-rich whole foods and the insulin environment shifts within days. Intervention 5, protect your sleep like it's medicine. 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep is not a luxury for visceral fat loss. It is a biological requirement. While you sleep, growth hormone peaks, directly mobilizing visceral fat stores. Cortisol drops, removing the storage signal. Your body does the most important fat-burning work of the day while you are unconscious. Intervention 6, lower cortisol deliberately. Stress management is not optional for visceral fat loss. It is non-negotiable. 4-7-8 breathing before meals, 20-minute walks in nature, protecting evening downtime. These lower cortisol measurably, and measurably lower cortisol means measurably less visceral fat being produced daily. Now, 3 shocking trends that have changed your exact timeline. In every controlled study comparing fat loss types, visceral fat disappears significantly faster than subcutaneous fat. In one landmark study, participants lost 3 times more visceral fat than surface fat in the first 12 weeks of intervention. The dangerous fat goes first, always. Alcohol is the most underestimated driver of visceral fat in America. Alcohol is processed by the liver, directly adjacent to visceral fat deposits. Regular alcohol consumption, even moderate, drives visceral fat accumulation independent of total calories. This is why it is called a beer belly, not a beer arm. Sitting for more than 8 hours daily independently increases visceral fat, even in people who exercise. A 60-minute workout does not undo 8 hours of sitting. Breaking up sitting with 2-minute movement breaks every hour reduces visceral fat accumulation measurably. Set an alarm right now.
So, how long does it actually take? 2 weeks for your biology to start shifting. 1 month for measurable visceral fat loss to begin. 3 months for visible change. 6 months for a health transformation your doctor will see in your blood work. Not 6 days, not a quick fix, but not 6 years either. 6 months of consistent, correct action. That is the honest answer. And every single week inside that 6 months, your body is quietly becoming safer, even before it looks different. Stop targeting the fat you can see. Start targeting the fat that is targeting you. Subscribe right now. Next week, I am dropping the exact 6-week visceral fat protocol with daily schedules, meal timing windows, and the 1 weekly habit that accelerates visceral fat loss by 40%. That video is the follow-up this one deserves.